go time. Okay, so before I became your community mobilizer at Kudos, I went to a lot of different places in the world, working on scarf tying projects. Not scarf only, but in styling, in Toronto, different parts of LA, and even Tokyo. And it all started because I loved playing around with different ways that you could wear something. And scarf is a big part of that. So let's see where these looks take you. The first one that I'm going to start with is a square. And this square is around 35 by 35 inches. And it's not completely necessary, but just so you know. And something that I like to start with is the kind of men's tie look. So what we're doing is we're rolling up the scarf. Can you guys see? I'm taking one tail, I'm putting it in the middle, and I'm tucking it back up. And I'm just rolling it up like an egg roll until I have something like this. And I'm just wrapping it around my neck. And I'm taking one of the sides. It's wrapping around and it's going in. Equally, this can also be the flight hostess look, depending on where your imagination takes you. And with this, I like to wear it at the front. You can kind of tuck it into a shirt if you want to emphasize a rounded jeweled neck, or you can definitely wear it at the back. Similarly, if you want to add some bling, or you have a ring that you enjoy, mine is this kind of Easter egg looking thing. So I'm taking my ring, I'm putting it into the scarf, and I'm feeding the other tail through.
Oh, that's a good ring. It's a ring.
And an important component, so it doesn't fall out, is you take the tail once more and you just stick it right into the ring. And just like that, your whole scarf will fall off before the ring does. And you can adjust it so it's nice and snug. And why I like it kind of a little bit more snug is it creates a little bit more volume. So if I want to show off a little bit more pink, to say match my glasses or someone's hair or makeup, I can do that. Or if I want to create a little bit more space between the detailing and the face, I might make it loose like this.
That's good.
And what I also really love about textiles is that it takes on color so well. For example, one of my favorite scarves, this has the, I also love red, so I'm very biased, but this is the Lion of St. Mark, and this is a little lion that hangs out in Venice, and it's known to kind of watch out for all the little merchants and everything that they've got going on, and I thought for this, we could feature a nice little knot necklace. So we're doing the same kind of egg roll thing. Okay. We're doing the egg roll thing first. So we got a nice long piece like this. And I like to put my first knot kind of in the middle, like this. And if you tie it nice and tight, you'll be able to make the scarf sausages a little bit thicker. You'll see what I mean in a second. So I'm tying a second knot right beside it. And then I'm tying a third knot. The next step is what I like to call the sausage. So you're taking your hands and you're just puffing them open a little bit more. Not the knots, but kind of the space in between the knots. Like so. And I'm taking the two ends of the tail and I'm just tying it kind of, you can tie it at the front too if you can't see. So I'm tying it together like this. And when I roll it to the front, you get something like this. Elegant, right? Who knew sausages could look so good?
Yeah, that one's cool.
Okay. How's your sausage looking, Selena?
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
And part of fashion, why it's so exciting, is it's going to be so different on every single person's body. And there's going to be something about your hair color, your eyes, your skin tone, that's going to make a specific piece of fashion or pattern work for you specifically.
Anyway.
That's something that I really love about fashion. It's a way to tell our story really loud without saying a single word. And those that know me in person I'm pretty loud already, so, you know, it's good to be quiet once in a while, I guess. Another thing that people like to experiment with is maybe you just want one knot in the center, and depending on what color it is, you might want to kind of emphasize different parts of the scarves with how you tie your knots. And if we do this one-on-one over Zoom or in person, we can definitely experiment with how the knot affects the pattern and how it frames your face. Okay, y'all ready for the next one? So something I have here is one of my favorite scarves, and I like it because you can see in the corner you got some orange, and you got some green, and some fuchsia, and some salmon-colored pink. And for example, if I want to grow a beautiful flower with this scarf, because I'm not much of a green thumb, I kill everything that's in my garden, but this I can do. So the first thing we want to do is take two opposite corners of the scarf, like so, and you want to tie those together.
Tie them together, okay.
Oh, wait, what?
You want to take two opposite corners of the scarf, and you want to tie them together in a knot.
Okay. Not too tight.
And I would tie a secondary knot once you got the first knot going on, just so it doesn't come loose. And the size of this first knot is what's going to determine the size of your flower. So if you want a big flower, tie a big old knot.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. How's it looking?
I'm using a bandana, so mine's a little bit smaller.
It's okay, and if it's not exactly a perfect square, this will be, it'll look maybe a little bit different, but you know, the gradual concept you can apply to all different types of textures. And for example, a bandana, what you're gonna get is, because it's a little bit more coarse than silk, you'll get a very interesting ruffle. Oh. And that's one of the funnest things about trying the exact same thing on a bunch of stuff. Okay, how are your knots coming along? Are we good for the next step? Perfect. So the next step is we want to take one of the tails that we didn't tie and pass it under the knot to the other side.
Past what?
We're taking the you know how you tie the knot? And
Yeah.
there's two tails that you didn't tie up. So we want to take one of those tails and pass them underneath the knot. So like this. I know it's a little hard to see because I don't have a table. But it looks like you guys got it. And then you want to take the second tail and pass it through as well. And then you got a beautiful flower.
No, don't.
It takes a little practice, so don't worry about it. And Erin, if you have something that maybe has a little bit more texture and you want to experiment with kind of bringing it together, you could twist the vine of your flower to create a little bit more shape. Ooh, I like yours, Sam. It looks like you have a matching one with Aaron. I dig it.
Allison, do you mind showing us one more time?
It would be my pleasure. I could do this all day. But maybe this time I'm going to tie it with a different knot. Oh, sorry. I'm going to tie it with a different corner so we can see how it changes. So your first step is you want to, it helps if you lay it out on your lap. I'm going to step back a little bit so you can see me. So you want to take two opposite corners.
That's what I would say. Can you cut your flower? Yeah.
And you want to tie them together. One knot. And then your second knot. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Oh, Selena, you beat us. It's beautiful. A yellow rose often means friendship. So thank you. And then you want to take the two opposite corners after you've tied your knot. And you can see here how you can see my hand underneath the knot. So I'm taking one of the tails and I'm passing it underneath the knot, like so. And then I'm taking the other tail and I'm doing the exact same thing. And I'm pulling gently until I'm happy with my beautiful flower.
Oh, nice. I think Janan had a rose as well. Oh, Casey, you've got one too.
Gorgeous!
I can't find my picture, but
Do you want to hold it up by your face and then we can see it?
if I remember my.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, you guys, I'm so proud. Yes.
Janan, was that a flower we saw too?
I don't know.
It looked like one.
Like that?
Ooh, wow, I love how all the colors are coming together in the middle. It's beautiful.
Oh, Erin's got hers.
And something that we can see here with all these different scarves is like if one's red, you can see the shape a lot more. But for example, in this one, when I got a little pink in the middle, I can be quite intentional about making the vines green. So it's really endless. Now, what do we do with this? Yes, on the head, it's actually really pretty. I also like as a necktie, or like so. Or you can even make it a corsage, like so.
Multiple uses here.
How's it going, you guys?
Not great.
How come?
We can't seem to get the...
Can you hold up your scarf for me? Okay, so maybe one of the things with this one, this is going to be great for one of our later looks, but I know that sometimes a bigger long scarf can be hard to make into the rose shape. So I find for me personally, I like the small square for the rose shape the best for myself, but I know the long shape can be a little bit tricky. But don't worry, I have just the thing for the long shape. Speaking of which, shall we move on?
Okay.
All right. And I saw that Tracy had a long one too. So one of the most popular moves with the long shape, and this is how big mine is. Well, I'm just in the whole screen, so okay. Ooh, fun fact. Did you know if you stretch out your arms, that's actually exactly how tall you are. So I'm 5'7", so this scarf is about 5'7" long.
Will this also work, Allison, with a large, I think Lindsay and I both have a large square one. Will it work with our square as well? And it looks like, yeah, maybe a few others as well.
Okay. Well, try. I think with the long scarf, you can roll it. So you got it to be a little bit longer. If you have a square, don't worry, because I'm going to show you some square looks too. So, but if you have a square, what I would do is I would do the egg roll. And that's just getting it into a diagonal shape like this. So you can do this next look. Okay. And so this is called the French twist. So you want to grab it in the middle. You want to grab it in the middle like this. Make it nice and long. And like you are a champion weightlifter, pull it behind your head. And here's where you have two tails. So you want to take one of the tails and you want to stick it through the hole. And then you want to take the other tail and you want to go over the hole. And then you want to stick it back in like this.
Are you sticking it back in the same hole, Allison?
Let me see. So one of them is through the hole like so.
Yep.
And the other one, I'm reaching over the scarf and I'm sticking it back into the hole.
Putting it under. Okay.
And then I'm pulling it out the other way.
Got it. You want to show it one more time?
Absolutely. So I got my little loop here and I'm holding on to the end. I'm bringing it over my head and I'm taking one of the tails and I'm sticking it into the hole. And then I'm taking the other one. I'm going over the hole and I'm sticking it in and I'm pulling it out.
Great. Looks like Janan, Aaron, Bahar, Casey.
And if you have any questions, don't worry. I am going to make an experience available in our catalog so we can look at exactly the dimensions you're using and we can practice a few more times.
Looks great. Looks like lots of people have.
Gorgeous! And I really like it big and fluffy like this. But for some colors, like Janan's beautiful textured thing, I like to add a little bit of a knot at the bottom. And this just gives me like a little goldfish tail. It has a point where it's pinching in a little bit and spreading out nice and fluffy. All right.
A few people fluffing with you, Allison.
Fluff, fluff, fluff. Okay. And with the long scarf, what I really like to do also is create like a vest. So if I want to show off all this beautiful color and pattern, what I'm gonna do, let me step back. It's really big, so I'm folding it over once. So just like a bed sheet. This. And then I'm folding it together again.
You're folding it.
Just, I'm folding it once, like so. So just in half. So where the halfway mark is, ta-da! One time, and then a second time. And then I'm taking that fold and I'm tying the corner together. Like this. And then I'm tying one more knot, like so it stays secure. Oops. Okay. Now I'll wait. How's everyone going?
It's got messed up.
It happens a lot. It happens to me a lot, especially. Okay. Now we're gonna get risque so I can show you the next part. You don't have to take off your clothes. This just makes it easier for me to show you. How are your knots coming along?
Mom, can you help me fold this?
And it's super fun. Like a lot of these looks took me a while to get it to look right for me. So if yours doesn't look quite exactly the same, that's totally okay. Ooh, I see Bahar, you got it? Nice. Okay. Shall I show you guys the next trick? No. And you know, if you do want a different kind of look, you could totally do this with like a bed cover. I've done that too. So from the side that I tied my knot, I'm just going to open it up. And it's going to have 2 armholes. Neat, right? Okay, and what do we do with these armholes, you ask? You're just gonna throw this over your shoulders like so. And there, you have yourself a shirt. And you can leave it kind of a little bit drapey. So when you walk, it's very dramatic. It's kind of like every day is a Beyonce music video. And you can take a belt or another scarf or a chain, and you might just throw it on there like this. And now you have a shirt.
Allison, if you have a scarf that's not quite as long, would it still work?
Absolutely. Let me show you. Another look, if you like showing off a lot of that big dramatic color, but you have something, for example, like a square. This is my handy dandy trick. With the square, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the top corners and tie them together. So, oops, we're tying corner to corner. So kind of like you're folding it in half. And you're tying the 2 corners together, like this. So it's kind of like when you fold a piece of paper in half and you got yourself like a hamburger. And with this hamburger, what you can do with it is transform yet again. And you are throwing this over your shoulder like so.
Oh.
So you got this beautiful color on the back.
Okay. Nice.
Let me see your kimonos.
Do you guys want to see Allison do it one more time?
Okay.
All right. So, most of the times, this look, it's not super directional, but if you have like a specific painting that you want upright, you might want to see which direction it goes. But mine's just a bunch of colors, so it doesn't matter. So what I'm doing is, if I'm taking a top view, I have this, and then I'm folding it in half, and then I'm tying together the top corners.
So the loose corners
Yes.
are tying together. Okay.
And this could be a great place, again, if you want to add a little bit of sparkle. It's totally okay if you're not like a maven like me that's attracted to shiny things. You can just tie 2 little knots at the corners.
Okay.
How's that looking?
I see Lindsay's got it tied. I've got it tied. Janan's putting hers on.
Yes.
Bahar is tying around her neck. Great. So once you have it, how do we know which armholes? So you hold it up like this, and then where are the armholes, Allison?
There will be 3 holes. There'll be 1 big hole in the middle, and then 2 at the side. So you want to aim for the 2 holes at the side that your arms are going to go through.
So swing it around like
Yep.
a cape. and
Yes.
then your arms
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
in. Okay.
Okay. Another thing, well, that we're going to show today with the big scarf is some other more simple ways is kind of putting it in a triangle like this. And I like to put it just around my neck, kind of like I'm at Red Lobster's.
What?
I took the triangles and I'm just bringing it around my head, like so. Laura.
The front or the back?
The front.
So,
if you got your triangle,
yeah.
you want to put the biggest part of your triangle on your chest.
And the triangle pointed down.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then you want to take the little bunny ears and wrap it around the back of your head. You got it. And here, again, this is a great place to just tie a simple knot. If you want more of the textures of the scarves to show through, like this.
Nice. Straight Bahar, yep. And then behind your back and bring it forward.
There, I can see it a bit more.
It kind of seems that way you're just turning it into a simple bandana.
Exactly. Now I'm ready for fashion and Red Lobster.
Slightly resembles a bib.
Like a bib. And if you wanted to be a really glamorous bib, I would often add brooches to it, like this. Or you can add, let's see what I got in here. I might, if you have a favorite ring you like to use, this might be the part where instead of tying a knot, I would feed a ring through it, like this. I'm really into shiny stuff, you can tell. Okay. So that's what it could look like.
You seem really into adding rings to your stuff.
I am, because I work with my hands a lot, so often I have to take off my rings and I forget to put them back on. But this way, I can just leave them on the whole time. And when you're in a bind, you can use rings to open different jars. You can use them as a Phillips screwdriver. For example, I don't have it here, but I have one that's really great for that. And I don't know if you guys saw, but the photos from the event is from something I did in the desert. And I was joking with my friend that this is also the perfect size to make an arm sling if you fall from great heights. So, for example, if I wanted to bind this arm, and this was the same arm that I broke my collarbone on, so I actually did wear a sling like this. You want to have a triangle like this. And, oops, it's facing towards you, like so. And then you're taking this little thing up here. This is less fashion, more practicality, but it's still helpful. I think this is probably one of the most survivalist scarf looks that I have. And ideally, someone else is doing this on you in case your arm's broken.
I was gonna say, way to turn fashion into medical.
You know what? Fashion saves lives. I think we proved that here today. So, in case you ever see somebody that broke their collarbone, this might be how they're treating it in their everyday life. Glamorous, right? Okay. And if your arm's not broken, I suppose you can hide snacks inside. And I thought maybe a final look we can finish with today is around head wraps. I'm still going to be using my big square here today. And the first thing I'm doing is I'm just rolling it in the egg roll. So I got this. And my hair's in a bun right now, so this is going to be a little bit easier for me. I'm just putting it behind my bun. And I'm bringing it to the top. And for this, you could definitely just tie a big old bow because I think it's super cute. This is also a great way. For example, if I'm styling like, let me think, like a really sleek turtleneck, this is a great way to add a lot of volume at the top. Boop, boop, boop.
You get out. I'm moderating this and I'm recording it, so get out. No, get out. Thanks. Sorry, small interruption.
See, we have, this is very exclusive event. We have Janie, our bouncer here, taking care of us. So you got a big old head bow like this. I like yours, son. It's looking good. Oh, Janan, that's beautiful. And sometimes I have a really big head, so what I might want to do is bring out some hair pieces to soften the look. Only if you want to. I think having a big head's great. People know how big your brains are.
How many bows did you tie, Allison?
Just one.
Oh, it's very fluffy.
Yeah. I see yours looks a little bit see-through, so that's probably, maybe we have a little bit of like a silkier blend. So the shape of it will be totally different with the different scarves you try.
Yours is quite stiff.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like almost like a Mickey Mouse bow or something. It's very pretty. Mine feels like it looks like a mess.
Well, that's a lot of great texture. It's about piling. So if I was styling that and it really needed to be fluffy, a trick I don't recommend you use for every day, just for photo shoots, is I might spray hairspray into it to get it rigid enough to create a big bow.
Oh.
But I don't recommend it if you're gonna do it to your own stuff.
Where do you tuck the ends, Allison? Like these?
What I do is I take, like my ends are pretty small here today, but if I had some other ends, I might pull it around and stick it underneath the knot. That's really pretty.
Tongue looking good.
I like it.
Har, yeah. Janan. Oh, I see Casey. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
And you can definitely move your bow from side to side. So for example, I might bring it to the side or really to the side like this.
Looks a little wild.
But that's the crazy thing about photo shoots is usually stuff only looks great from one specific angle. So if you walk around to the other side of the model, stuff might be looking a little crazy. But it's okay, because you only need that one shot. It's like Instagram. Yes, Selena? Ah, can't hear you. Hold on. Can we unmute Selena? Okay.
Yep. Go ahead, Selena.
But I was asking you, like, when you had it, it's like looking like a pirate.
Thank you. I like it.
Yeah?
Pirate's life for me. I too want to travel the world and take others' riches, maybe. Okay, so another thing that I like to do with a headscarf, oh, sorry, I've been yelling, haven't I? My scarf's covering my ears, so I can't hear myself so good. So back to the egg roll. I love yours, Bahar. It's so full of volume. It looks like a big old peony. I love peonies.
I was trying to get the arrow, but now I can't get.
Okay. So with that look, we got a lot of volume. This one, it's going to wrap a little bit closer to our head. So same thing, but instead of tying a bow, we're just going to wrap it around like this, like make an X on your forehead. How's it looking?
It's pretty good.
And then you wrap it around like a windmill or like a roundhouse kick.
Okay, so you twist it.
Yes.
Right?
And
Okay.
then I'm just tying it at the back of my neck.
Okay, I see Janan's got that. It's like a headband.
And my hair is looking a little bit nuts right now after all that headscarf tying. But that's okay. And this way you have something pretty snug to your head, which is really great for drawing more attention to kind of like eyewear or like this part of your face. Or if you had your hair down, that could be a way of showing off the connection of your hair and the top part of your shirt. All right. So that about brings us to the end of our hour. Is there any particular styles that you're gonna rock today? I hope, Bahar, you keep on rocking that beautiful flower.
Yeah.
Ah, yay! I'm so glad. How about you, Tracy? Do you feel like there's something that you're going to take into your week?
Tracy, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. I've got more than one scarf, and they're not mine.
That's the best. When I style, it's never my own stuff. That's why I can spray hairspray in it.
They all belong to Heather, along with the dress and the sweater.
I love it. It looks like she has quite a collection.
Yes. My favorite one is this one.
Oh.
It has skulls on it.
Ooh.
You had me at skulls. I'm a huge skull fan. Don't get me wrong.
Skulls and flowers.
It's a nice contrast.
I love it.
The only reason why I didn't tie any bows or anything is because they're not mine.
A lot of Dutch paintings often include the
I can't hear her.
A lot of Dutch paintings have skulls and flowers in them because they talk about how it represents how short our lives is. But at the same time, in one moment, like a flower blooming, it's so impactful, even though it's not permanent. So that's something that makes me think of when I think of skulls and flowers.
Well,
Does anyone have any questions for me before we close today?
so
I see a Brandon hand. Sorry, Brandon, you gotta unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
I thought I did unmute myself. Okay. I was wondering, what got you into this kind of interest?
Thank you for asking. I think we all have little budding interests that keep on growing and growing. When I was little, before I would wear scarves to school as a shirt, and my dad would tell me, Allison, you're going to school, not a fashion show, but I sure showed him. So I think I'm really attracted to the idea of how colors and shapes of garments really bring out different characters in us. Like, there was one study where they gave people these lab coats. So they gave them different kind of things to do, like maybe, I don't know, like little tests. Like maybe how fast you can organize something or something like that. And they showed that the people that they gave these lab coats to, or these scientist coats, they were on a whole more accurate and a little bit more careful with their recording. So I think a lot of times our clothes are ways that we call to our consciousness different parts of who we are. Maybe it's a part that pays really close attention to small details. Or maybe it's a part of me that is really wild, that's really creative. So maybe I'm wearing something a little crazy, like all those rings in my scarves. And it's a reminder to me, there's something I can touch to remind me of who I am. So I think that's probably a big part of how all this started.
Shows your personality.
Yeah, for better or for worse, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's like, just like that. It wasn't anything that I started intentionally, but little things like this became ways that I reached out to different photographers and models to say, hey, like, I really liked what you do. This is what I'm interested in. Can we work together somehow? And that led to me meeting more friends in Vancouver that do the same thing and hiring me on for little jobs here and there. And then this adventure just kept on growing and growing until I was in Japan. That was really long-winded, but I hope I answered your question.
Does anyone else have any questions for Allison before we sign off today? Well, look for this experience in the catalog as part of our online offerings. And then you can always reach out to Allison that way. You can request it. It should be coming up in the next week or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I really look forward to, if you guys want to request the experience, we'll practice this one-on-one over video or over the phone, and we can get a lot more details because I still have a lot more up my sleeve to show you. So I hope you do request it in the next 2 weeks.